From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Members of the Hispanic Caucus rallied in Washington, D.C. today for the 4th anniversary of DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, what an Arizona official wants to see done.
And hot summer days mean time spent beside water. Experts suggest floaties and life jackets to prevent drowning, but not just for kids.
Plus, one Arizona Rattlers player is focused on more than just arena football, how he balances playing with caring for his sick mother.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Alexis Solari.
And I'm Cooper Gardner. Thanks for joining us.
Today marks the 4th anniversary of DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program that lets dreamers apply for a 2-year stay here in the U.S. without fear of being deported. But some House Democrats were in no mood to celebrate the anniversary today. Cronkite News reporter Wafa Shahid has the story from our Washington bureau.
Angry members of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus accused House Republicans of compromising national security with a proposed amendment to the defense spending bill that would effectively ban dreamers from serving in the military.
Let me tell you what matters. What matters out there is not your status. What matters is your heart.
Congressman Ruben Gallego and the Congressional Hispanic Caucus blamed the DACA service ban on the influence of likely Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump.
Soon on the House floor, we're going to see yet again a clear example of how House Republicans are the party of Trump when they offer divisive amendments that attack dreamers.
They come here in the spirit of Donald Trump.
On the 4th year anniversary of DACA, Trump's friends in the House are attacking dreamers who not only want to serve our country, but want to serve it in uniform.
Caucus members accused House Republicans of attacking the immigrant community yet again, but this time on a particularly troubling date. Gallego said supporters of the proposed amendment were putting partisan politics ahead of the national good.
We should not let anti-immigrant partisan posturing stand in the way of our military recruitment goals or our national security.
The amendment to ban dreamers from military service was sponsored by another Arizona congressman, Republican Paul Gosar, but he could not be reached for comment on the opposition to his plan. Live in Washington, I'm Wafa Shahid, Cronkite News.
Presumptive Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump focuses much of his campaign around building a wall on the border. Cronkite News reporter Veronica Acosta in our Washington bureau talked to one Arizona senator who says that walls cannot be the only option.
Senator Jeff Flake said this morning that the U.S. cannot grow economically if it becomes Fortress America.
We cannot simply turn a blind eye to globalization and figure that we'll be fine on our own.
Flake, speaking at the Woodrow Wilson Center conference on U.S.-Mexico trade relations, said security is important, but doing business across the border is too.
We've got to make a bipartisan effort to make sure that we have our priorities straight. Obviously, that includes security, but we need to talk more about commerce.
Flake and others at the conference said improved trade between the U.S. and Mexico can help both economies.
So then the goal of trade becomes not, can we just sell more to each other and buy more from each other? It means, how can we become more competitive so that we can export more to the rest of the world?
And they said Mexico has grown to become a competent and very mature trading partner.
The level and quality of interaction in terms of professionalization of agencies in Mexico is much higher than a lot of American public would believe. There are huge implications.
The gains that Mexico has made economically, 20th largest economy in the world. That's not appreciated as it should be.
While emphasizing the importance of secure borders, Flake also made a pitch for free trade.
How are we going to have 2, 3, 4% economic growth if we wall ourselves off? Where has that ever succeeded around the world?
Reporting in Washington, Veronica Acosta, Cronkite News.
Although he did not mention Donald Trump by name, Senator Flake did joke from the podium that he would not take questions about the likely Republican nominee, saying he gets enough of those at the Capitol.
And Trump is heading to the Valley this weekend. He will rally at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum on the Arizona State Fairgrounds. The venue can fit 15,000 people. The event starts at 4 p.m., but doors open at 1. Trump supporters attending include Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio, former Governor Jan Brewer, and State Treasurer Jeff DeWitt.
A different Arizona Republican met with Trump yesterday. Governor Doug Ducey flew out to New York to hold a meeting with the presidential candidate. According to Ducey's spokesperson, the governor told Trump he wants Republicans to remain in control of Arizona politics from the presidency down to state legislature. Ducey announced back in April he will support whomever is the Republican nominee.
A vigil will be held tonight to remember one of the 49 victims in the Orlando shooting. Jason Benjamin Josephat graduated Skyline High School in Mesa in 2014. Josephat was attending college in Florida. The candlelight vigil will start at 8 p.m. at Skyline Park.
Researchers at University of Arizona and University of Luxembourg have developed a way to fit your entire gut on a chip. Cronkite News reporter Eddie Keller visited U of A's Center for Applied Nano Bioscience and Medicine to see it in action.
That's right, Cooper. All the information about a person's gut can fit onto a chip about half the size of this iPhone. It's called Humix, and the researchers who developed it say it could set a new standard when it comes to the testing and our knowledge of human physiology.
What we're doing is taking cells that you would normally have in your stomach, in your gastrointestinal tract. We can put them in here. We can see how they interact with each other.
Specifically, microbes, or organisms and bacteria that are found in your GI tract.
So right now there is no good model to really study the fundamental, biology and communication between the gut microbiome and for example, the intestine or the colon.
But Dr. Zenhausen says the technology they've developed, called Humix, is the solution.
We can look at the effect of drugs. We can look at the effect of nutrition. If you eat too much chocolate, maybe that's, have an impact.
Humix allows researchers to map out, isolate, and study the interaction between microbes and human tissue in the GI tract. They say this could lead to treatments specifically tailored to each person.
Because your body is completely different to my body, so how the probiotics that might improve your digestion might not be quite so good for me.
But it isn't just about gastrointestinal health and research. They say Humix might even help address mental health and disease due to the connection between the gut and the brain.
In the gut, you have a lot of neuron and nerve that connect with your brain. So maybe indeed that communication between those different cells may generate neurotoxin that maybe in fact will influence your brain.
There isn't anything proven yet, but the researchers are hopeful that it could lead to new insights into some of the most complex brain diseases.
Like Parkinson, Alzheimer's disease, but also dementia and other type of disease, but also in terms of depression and other disease.
While Dr. Zenhausen and his team are still working on some of the mechanisms involved, they believe that Humix could revolutionize our understanding of human biology. Live at the control room, Eddie Keller, Cronkite News.
First Lady Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Kerry Washington, and thousands of women gathered for the United States of Women Summit.
And some Arizona residents were more than awestruck. Coming up on Cronkite News, reactions to the event and the plans to help girls in Arizona with computer science skills.
Plus, planning to drive to Fossil Creek this weekend to escape the heat? You might want to call ahead, find out what you need before you visit.
Oprah, President Obama, and Warren Buffett, just to name a few, came together for this year's United States of Women Summit. Among the few the star-filled room was ASU professor Kimberly Scott, who talked about her program, CompuGirls. Cronkite News reporter Keisha Butts in our Washington bureau spoke to Scott about her program.
ASU professor Kimberly Scott has been to Washington before, but never to an event like this.
We have to invest that time in getting to understand who we are.
It was just an honor and also awe-inspiring.
The United States of Women Summit brought women from all over the country, and Scott came to D.C. again to speak about her program, CompuGirls.
Teach the computational thinking skills such as coding through game design, building in virtual worlds, robotics, which include more coding, and certainly digital storytelling.
CompuGirls has existed since 2006, and it helps girls learn technology ages 13 to 18 years old, mainly from under-resourced areas in Phoenix, Colorado, New Jersey, and Wisconsin. Others are also excited to be here from ASU, like Tamsin Stonebarger.
For me, it's opens more doors for networking opportunities.
Although she did not meet Obama and the First Lady, she thinks it's amazing that they host events like this.
One of the comments that they said is they opened up the White House in a way that I would argue no other president has.
From Washington, I'm Keisha Butts, Cronkite News.
Also, Scott praised the First Lady for mentoring young girls at the White House, saying it's something we should all do.
And now women may soon have to register for the military draft. That's because of a new defense bill passed by the Senate. It's an amendment that would require women to register for selective service, applying to women turning 18 in 2018. Senator Ted Cruz stood against the provision, but Senator John McCain called it simply fair, now that the Pentagon opened all military roles to women. The White House has threatened to veto the act, but for now, the Senate's defense bill will be reconciled with the House version.
In the wake of the deadly shootings in Orlando, a Democratic senator has launched a filibuster to force a vote on gun control. Senator Chris Murphy is from Connecticut, home to the 2012 shooting in Newtown that left 20 children and 6 adults dead. He says Republicans have been delaying votes on gun control. In December, Senate Republicans and the National Rifle Association opposed a bill that would ban the sale of guns and explosives to suspected terrorists.
A 2-year-old boy who was dragged away by an alligator in Orlando last night has been found dead this afternoon. It happened at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort when the alligator grabbed him near a lagoon. Officials from the Orange County Sheriff's Department and the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission concluded their 15-hour-long search when the divers found the child's body near where the boy was captured.
After a review, the U.S. Department of Education recommended that the Accrediting Council for Independent Colleges and Schools be closed. The council has been accused of accrediting some institutions of fraud, including the now defunct Corinthian College chain. The recommendation will go to an advisory committee before top department officials make a final decision.
Twice as many adults in Arizona drown each year compared to kids.
But most drowning deaths are preventable. Coming up on Cronkite News. Programs in Phoenix that focus on teaching adults how to stay safe in the water.
And if taking a trip to Fossil Creek is in your future, a new regulation has been put in place that could slow you down if you don't plan ahead. Floaties and other life preservers are not just for kids. Statistics show adults are the ones who need to wear these swimming helpers most. Cronkite News reporter Christina Tatro attended one swimming lesson that was for adults.
That's right, Alexa. In Arizona, adults drown far more often than children, but experts say there are ways to prevent these deaths.
It's surprising to people, but we actually have twice as many adults drown every year than children, twice as many adults drown than children.
Already this year, 21 people have drowned in Arizona, and 15 of those were adults. There are 2 major reasons.
It's simply because we're going in alone and we're going in impaired.
Lori Schmidt with the city of Scottsdale says younger adults often die at poolside parties involving drugs or alcohol. And seniors often swim alone and have no one to rescue them.
Be aware of the risks. If you're not feeling well, don't go in the water. And we highly recommend that you actually continue to swim with a buddy.
There's a lot of things that can happen. There can be heart attacks, there can be, seizures, there can be strokes. There's a lot of things that, can happen in the water.
Perhaps the worst thing about these drownings is that they are 100% preventable.
Don't assume just because we live in Arizona and water's everywhere that everybody has had swimming lessons.
Lifeguards say one of the most effective ways to always prevent drowning is to wear a life vest and to buckle up. Even the most seasoned of swimmers, like Diane Stiles, say that adults like her need to know how to protect themselves, and all they need to do is learn their CPR.
And it's just sad. And none of their friends might know CPR or first aid or even to swim themselves to go get them.
The city of Scottsdale offers 3 quick steps to make sure that you and your family prevent drownings at any age. Always make sure there is sober supervision around water. Create barriers around any sitting water in your home, and take local classes to learn how to swim or stay afloat. Live in the broadcast center, Christina Tatro, Cronkite News.
If you do stay out of the water, be careful of the heat. Maricopa County health officials have confirmed the first heat-related death this year. An otherwise healthy woman in her 90s was found in her backyard after suffering from heat exposure. Heat-related deaths are a huge problem here in Arizona. Last year, Maricopa County recorded 84 heat-related deaths. County officials say about 40% of heat-related deaths occur indoors. So they stress the importance of keeping the air conditioning running. And the problem isn't just here. Each year, more Americans die from heat-related incidents than from all other national disasters combined.
Fossil Creek is only one of 2 streams in the state that are part of the Wild and Scenic River system, but parking permits are now a requirement to enter the area. Cronkite reporter Crandall Brantley visited the area to learn more about the new regulations.
A decrease in visitors and less pollution at Fossil Creek were 2 things the Forest Service had in mind when they began to regulate parking permits at Fossil Creek. Forest Ranger Dexter Allen says the goal is to improve the experience for visitors.
Basically doing what we wanted. The capacity is limited and there's less people in the area.
The parking permits cost $6 per vehicle on the Forest Service website. Allen says Fossil Creek has 148 assigned parking spots scattered across 9 parking lots.
On the weekends, all of those parking areas have been 100% booked.
Up to 6 permits are allowed per visitor during the busy months, and a copy of the permit is required to enter.
In the past, before we started this reservation system, we had a lot of people show up and we were full, so we'd turn people away. That's why we designed the reservation system, so they're guaranteed to get in with their reservation.
On the weekends, when it's usually booked, rangers stop cars to check permits near the entrance of the trail. But during the week, drivers often end up driving 14 miles on a dirt road before they reach a parking lot where they are told to leave.
We've had 5 vehicles show up without a reservation. Unfortunately, they get turned away.
The best option is to print your permit at home before you hit the road. For Cronkite News, I'm Crandall Brantley.
From May through the beginning of October, visitors are prohibited from camping in the area. Fossil Creek is open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. during the day.
The State Motor Vehicle Division is trying to figure out how to reduce wait times. The MVD office in West Phoenix exchanged its automated system for calling the numbers of customers to using an employee to direct people to available service windows. Another MVD worker checks to make sure waiting customers have what they need to complete their transactions. The agency says initial results are promising.
Arena football players may be tough and strong,
but there's much more to them than what you see on the field. Coming up on Cronkite News, we talked to an Arizona Rattlers player to find out how he balances football with taking care of one of his #1 fans. The funeral for legendary hockey player Gordie Howe took place today in Detroit. The service to honor Mr. Hockey was open to the public. Hundreds, including Wayne Gretzky, attended the 2-hour funeral that was streamed online by the Red Wings. Howe spent much of his pro career in Detroit and helped popularize hockey across the U.S. The family requests donations be made to the Gordie Howe Traumatic Brain Injury Initiative, the Howe Foundation, or the Gordie Howe Fund for Alzheimer's Research. Gordie died last week at the age of 88. At first glance, Arizona Rattlers rookie KJ Morton is strong and intimidating. But beneath the jersey, what you find is quite the opposite. Reporter Blair McElroy met with the athlete and learned his inspiring story.
Well, I'm just very competitive, and no matter what sport I'm playing or what game I'm playing or what I'm doing, period, if it's somebody else, I'm going to win. That's just my mentality.
On May 21st, Arizona Rattlers rookie defensive back KJ Morton had his most successful game of the season, making 2 tackles and breaking up 6 passes.
He's been doing a good job. I like where he's at, and if he sticks with it, he's really going to grow and be a fantastic player in this league.
Every day in practice in the game, it's me versus me. So I come out here and practice and I work on my technique, and Coach Guy put me in a position to make the plays, and in the games I just go out there and put it together.
Away from the games here at Talking Stick Resort Arena, Morton's thoughts are with his mother, Decta. A little over a year ago, Morton and his family received the news that she had suffered her 2nd stroke.
She's been in the hospital since May of 12th last year. The doctor said she wasn't going to make it.
12 months later, and almost 2,000 miles away in Macon, Georgia, Decta Morton continues to battle.
They said that she wouldn't be able to move, she wouldn't remember anybody, but every time I see her, she just lights up. So her progression is very good, but anything with the brain, it takes a while to recover from it. So she's doing pretty good.
Morton says his mother has always been the driving force behind his journey to success.
She's always believed in me, she's always supported me, and just seeing her struggle, my drive was always to not have her struggle and put my family on my back.
Morton hopes to visit his mother to celebrate their birthdays, which are both later this month. In Phoenix, Blair McElroy, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up tonight on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, a national rail conference is happening in Phoenix, and we'll take a look at the state of Arizona's movie industry. That's on the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm Judy Woodruff on the next NewsHour. How to improve diversity at one of the nation's most elite public high schools. That's Wednesday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.